Alright, Israel Adesanya has been pretty quiet since UFC 293, and I think a lot of people are talking about his performance against Sean Strickland, and specifically what he did that caused himself to lose that fight, right? Because if you guys remember, I mean, it was almost certain. Everybody thought, hey, Sean Strickland had no chance of beating Israel Adesanya. I even said, you guys, I said, look, the only way I could see Sean Strickland beating Izzy if he outpoints him, right? If he's just better than him, which I thought was impossible. But little did we know that's literally what happened. He out-jabbed Israel Adesanya, took away his weapons with his pressure, and had a phenomenal performance against Israel Adesanya. But has he fell off? Because there's been a lot of news coming up, one of which, he recently just was in a trial. He just came out a response video. I did a YouTube short reacting to that, so go check that out. But I'm going to talk about it a little more here because there's been new things that have come to light. Is Israel Adesanya handling the loss well? Is he not? What are some things that he's overlooking? Did he overlook Sean Strickland in the build-up? We're going to get into all that and more, but first I just want to remind you guys, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. We're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, so I know you're going to help me get to that goal. And yeah, I want to talk about Israel Adesanya. What's next for him? What do I think his thoughts are? Can he beat Sean Strickland? Now, I've done a couple videos on Israel Adesanya. I did a video talking about what I think his game plan should be in a rematch with Sean Strickland. So if you guys are interested in that, I would suggest checking that out because I'm not really going to go into what I think his strategy should be. However, I'm going to talk about more of the mind state, right? Because there's been a lot of news coming out. First, let's address the elephant in the room, right? Israel Adesanya recently just pled guilty to drinking and driving. Now, this comes a few weeks after that Sean Strickland defeat. And a lot of people, are making the assumption, hey, Israel Adesanya's really going through it after the Sean Strickland loss. He's drinking and driving. He's going to end up like John Jones. His ego is shattered, right? And that's what the presumption would be, right? You hear something like that, and that's what you think. But it turns out that this charge was actually from August 19th, about 3 weeks before he did fight Sean Strickland. And my question is, what are you doing, Israel Adesanya, drinking and driving 3 weeks before your fight? Like, to me, it just shows lack of motivation from Israel Adesanya, right? Not that you can't drink during a training camp, right? There has been fighters that have done that. John Jones, for example, for most of his career would go out partying and get blackout drunk so he would have an excuse for why he lost the fight if he ever lost. So I'm not trying to say, that you can't drink during a training camp. That's not why I think Israel Adesanya is not motivated. However, drinking and driving is a serious offense, let alone the fact about everybody else's life. Let's talk about Israel Adesanya's life, right? If you're drinking and driving, you could easily injure yourself, get into a crash. I mean, we saw John Jones' whole career basically get fucked up because of a car accident, because of a hit and run. Like, I know it might sound ridiculous, but the truth is that a mistake like that could ruin his career, ruin his legacy, ruin the fight that he had going for him with Sean Strickland. We saw the UFC strip John Jones when something like that happened. And it just, to me, it's careless. It's like, what are you thinking? And look, I want to defend Israel Adesanya. Look, I know that the guy is going through a lot, right? Previously, even before the fight, right? He had the stuff going on with his girlfriend, right? He was wearing that t-shirt at, International Fight Week, basically dissing her and basically alluding to the situation. I know that he was struggling with her. Apparently, she wanted to take his money, even though they were just, boyfriend and girlfriend. And I guess he felt betrayed. I'm not saying that's why he was, but it just seems to me that Israel Adesanya is going through it. Then plus, when you add on top of the loss and all the trash talk before, with Israel Adesanya basically getting humiliated in front of the world, and plus him acting so strange at that post-fight press conference and only responding just a few days ago, this tells me that Israel Adesanya is going through it right now. I'm not trying to kick the guy while he's down, but it's just plain as simple, and I'm worried for Israel Adesanya because we've seen him be the best in the world. And I wouldn't say I'm a massive Israel Adesanya fan, but you cannot deny his talent. The dude has some talent, and we saw Israel Adesanya in there against Sean Strickland. I know there's a lot of debate about this. Was Israel Adesanya looking off, or was Sean Strickland that good? I believe it was a mix of both because Sean Strickland did do a lot of things that I thought would give Izzy problems. I did say, hey, I thought the fight was going to be closer than some people thought. I especially knew the fight was going to be close if Sean Strickland was actually able to pressure Israel Adesanya and have good defense. And I predicted Sean would have good defense, but I didn't think he would have that good defense, you know what I mean? And yeah, so I want to give credit to Sean Strickland. Absolutely, he did so many great things in that fight. However, Israel Adesanya, in my opinion, did look off. I mean, at certain points, he wasn't really going in southpaw. Southpaw would have been a perfect way to take away Sean Strickland's jab, right? Like, if you guys are opposite stances, then it's harder to land jabs, right? Then it's easier to land straight right hands or, your backhand. And Israel Adesanya's fight IQ, in my opinion, is very overrated. I honestly think that's something that he lacks. Like, when you look at Alex Pereira, the reason he was able to beat Sean Strickland was because he set up a shot. That's the only way you're going to beat Sean Strickland, right? Because the guy isn't necessarily the most technical, but his defense stems from the fact that he has just great instincts because he spars all the time. He just knows what shots are coming because he's used to seeing them. I mean, the dude spars like hours a day, apparently. Like, there's stories of him going 20 rounds, 15 rounds. The guy spars non-stop every single day, and that's why his conditioning is on point. That's why his fight IQ is on point. That's why when he's looking at shots, he knows what shots are coming. That's why he has good defense. So what Alex Pereira did was set up a shot that even with all that experience and all that instinct, he used that against Sean Strickland where he made him parry what he thought was going to be a jab and come around with that left hook, basically tricking Sean Strickland into doing what he instinctually thought he should do and then punishing him big time, right? And that's why Alex Pereira was able to knock him out within a very quick 2.5 minutes, because he was able to set up a shot, right? And Sean Strickland has amazing defense, but it's like when you're getting set up from a guy like Alex Pereira that has one of the greatest setups, one of the best kickboxers in the world, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But Israel Adesanya, we just didn't really see so much fight IQ. I thought he was just in the orthodox stance. Now, originally when I saw the fight, I had said on this channel, I'd said, hey, maybe Israel Adesanya had some sort of leg injury. Maybe that's why he put his leg in the back. Maybe, you know, one of those kicks got checked and it really fucked up his foot. Maybe he broke his foot. You don't know. Israel Adesanya isn't exactly the type to make excuses. And that's why I want to talk about the video, right? So he made a video talking about his loss, and he handled it pretty well, right? I'm not going to say that he didn't handle it well, but there's just certain things in there. I think he's going into a rematch with a bad mindset, and maybe a similar mindset that he did with the first one. Guys, to rewind back, the reason I brought up this whole drinking and driving thing, it just tells me his attitude with the camp, right? And we knew, hey, Dricus du Plessis was supposed to be the guy Israel Adesanya fought. Then that fight fell through. Sean Strickland filled in a guy that everyone thought Israel Adesanya was going to beat anyway. I think it's a solid possibility and even a fair assumption to say, hey, Israel Adesanya might have overlooked Sean Strickland. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Sean. Like I said, I honestly think that Sean is going to beat Izzy in a rematch anyway, just because we were shown he is the better boxer, right? We saw some weapons of Israel Adesanya get taken away, and we see how he reacts in those situations. I think Sean Strickland is going to win, and I think he is the better fighter. And that's why I say it's a bit of both, because if I'm going to be honest, Sean Strickland performed the way that I thought he was going to, right? If he was going to win, that's how I pictured him winning. And I said this on the channel during fight week. Israel Adesanya, however, did a lot of things I didn't expect him to do. To me, that's why I think it's a little weird. As much as I am happy for Sean, I'm just saying what I think is true. And you gotta wonder, what is his attitude going to be going into a rematch, right? I mean, you gotta imagine the confidence is low. I mean, Sean Strickland dominated him. Let's be honest. I mean, maybe Israel Adesanya won that second round, but it was very close. Arguably, all 5 rounds could have gone to Sean Strickland. I don't think you can give Izzy 2. I had it 49-46. And yeah, Sean Strickland just dominated the whole fight, screaming at Israel Adesanya in the last second. That is going to destroy your confidence, and honestly, that's going to expose you to all of the guys in the division. And Israel Adesanya is a guy that has a big ego, and I don't think this is me dissing him, right? I mean, most fighters have a pretty big ego, and for someone like Israel Adesanya, is he going to be able to take it from someone like Sean Strickland, who, let's be honest, he wasn't really considered to be the best in the world? Like when Izzy lost to Jan, right? Yes, he lost to Jan, but it was also a very close fight. Izzy had a size disadvantage where he could lean on, and everybody kind of knew, hey, it was, you know, more of a size thing than anything, and he just got beat by the better dude. And not many people really paid attention to the loss, but this is the worst loss Israel Adesanya has ever faced in his career, whether it's in kickboxing, whether it's in boxing, whether it's in MMA. Because even the Alex Pereira loss in kickboxing, right? Not many people knew who Israel Adesanya is. Now everybody does. Now he's this big champion. Now he's this big dude in MMA, and he lost to Sean Strickland. He lost to a guy that nobody thought was going to win. So it just looks bad on his legacy, especially after losing to Pereira a year ago. And even that Pereira loss in MMA, right? It was a pretty close fight. He was winning. That wasn't even as bad of a loss. And I do genuinely think that this is the worst loss Israel Adesanya suffered in MMA ever, and in all combat sports. So I'm curious to see how he's going to bounce back from this. You know, what is his approach going to be in a rematch? It seems like they're leaning going towards the rematch, although Israel Adesanya in his video didn't really seem so committal on saying he's going to come back to fight anytime soon. So maybe they do Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, and Izzy just fights the winner. I don't know. There's so many things up in the air that it's hard to predict. But overall, my whole point of making this video is, look, if you're Israel Adesanya and you're an Israel Adesanya fan, you gotta be worried. Israel Adesanya, you have to work a little bit harder, because Sean Strickland is the better fighter. He said things in that YouTube video as if it's a simple fix. Like he was like, oh, I couldn't find my jab, I'm gonna find it next time. What makes you think you're gonna be able to find your jab next time, right? Like, what are you gonna do differently from the last fight that you're gonna do in this fight? That's what I want to know, and we'll see. I mean, I think that there's a potential Izzy can win in the rematch, because I think that he'll definitely be more on point and not underestimate Sean Strickland. However, I do think Sean is going to win. I think he just showed a lot of flaws in Israel Adesanya's game, especially the boxing, especially backing him up, and especially the heart of Israel Adesanya. We saw him in the Kelvin Gastelum fight almost give his life to fight Kelvin, right? Kelvin was battering him. In this fight with Sean Strickland, he didn't even look like he wanted to engage. And let's be honest, Sean Strickland, man, he's not exactly a power puncher. He did hurt Izzy, but I mean, he's not a big power puncher. And after that knockdown, it just seemed like Israel Adesanya had no dog left in him and was just out of the fight and just trying to cruise to a loss. Anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the whole situation. Let me know who you guys think is going to win, Sean Strickland or Israel Adesanya. What do you guys think about this news of him drinking and driving? Do you think that this spells the end for Israel Adesanya? Are we going to see him have a massive downfall? That's what I wanted to talk about in this video. I thought it was super interesting. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Comment in the comment section below and I'll respond, and I'll see you guys in the next one.